Hey, Joe Mastriano, CPA, over 40 years and thousands of successful IRS tax cases. Happy Friday. This video is warning people do not file your tax return. Every year, I try to warn people more aggressively now because the danger is now greater due to IRS failures during COVID. Um, there were three processing units for power of attorneys, down to two main ones. One of them was trashing power of attorneys. Um, Various departments at the IRS that were receiving tax returns were putting them in trailers. Hence, you still have millions of tax returns that have not been processed. And some of them, I know from my own clients, have been lost. So, the reason why you don't run and file now, well, I do want to tell you first that I've seen many commercials from companies, mostly software companies, but national tax companies, saying, hey, you don't need to file your return. Go fishing, go boating, go out and party. Our experts will file it for you. And ha, 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 I have to laugh because I hired one of their so called experts and he worked for them on the weekends. They were paying him $25 an hour only, and he can barely do personal tax returns. So I laugh at what they call experts. You see, as a CPA and owner of a CPA firm, I know that CPAs and attorneys can't call themselves experts unless they've proven educationally and experience wise that they are an expert. However, if you deal with a non professionally licensed company, especially one that has a lot of money and a lot of clout politically, they get away with saying almost anything they want to. So beware. I will always support small companies where the person doing the return has a lot of stake in the game here. If you work for some big company, you have to follow their rules. You're gonna come and go. If they don't meet your requirements, you might quit. Um, they may fire you. But a person that owns or is partners in a small business has their heart in their work and they know they want to make it work and they know their reputation matters and they're going to do the best job and they're going to have the flexibility to meet your needs. So, the reasons why you don't run and file, and I'm very sorry about people who don't plan their financial situation and they desperately need their refund so much that they have to file now and run and file before April 15th because they need their refund to pay their rent or buy food or car payment or whatever the expense is because it's not worth risking an audit. There's a wage and income transcript, and that transcript has what third party payers report on you: W 2s, 1099s, K 1s from sub S Corps and partnerships, 1099Bs on mortgages and broker statements and things. And that person who bought your car for cash may use it in their business and file a 1099 that they paid you, and rightly so. And there's a lot of cash transactions that I've come across over the years where later on people filed 1099s. How do you know that the W 2 information sent to the Social Security Administration by your employer matches the W 2 that they gave you? There's so many things that can go wrong. I've had to correct broker statements, W 2s, 1099s, missing K 1s, and here's people that were going to file a tax return with um, income and expenses transferred over from a sub S corporation or a partnership, and yet the sub S corporation and partnership return was not filed yet. People do the dumbest things. Why? Because they trust other people blindly. And then they get in trouble. And then they call people like me to bail them out, which I'm happy to, but it just costs more when you do it that way. Why not do it right in the first place? So you file an extension and you don't file until a few days before the end of the extension, which is normally around October 15th. However, as a lot of people still mix up, the paying of your taxes has nothing to do with filing of the return. So you can file an extension and file your return a few days before October. And you should do it every year because usually around August, September is when the wage and income transcript finally settles and the employers and people who produce those documents have made their corrections, especially this year since there was no grace period. The government, in their own wisdom, took the 1 month grace period away. So if you have a correction on your W-2 or 1099, your employer must file an amended copy. And then if it comes in later on, they're going to file an amended copy after that. And by the time they get processed, because nobody had the hindsight to see how it's going to get backed up by the Social Security Administration, which is not a major processing center for for W-2s. And they don't want to do it 2 and 3 times over. Those adjustments may not be made in time for them to process your tax return because you're filing early. I anticipate a ton of mishaps to happen this year, and I'm doing several podcasts. If you know anyone that has a podcast where my conversation would be appropriate for, please let me know. You can email me at joe@taxproblem.org. And I just can't say it enough. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, watch my videos, and you'll keep seeing all the reasons why you should go to somebody who's professionally licensed, who's going to help you put together the evidence you need to support your tax return. Oh my God, I see returns people. I don't care if they're doctors, lawyers, high or any kind of high paying person. There's items on their tax return that they are not even familiar with. Well, where did this $50,000 deduction come from? Well, I don't know. I gave a bunch of stuff to my tax preparer and he said it was okay. And he said it was, no problem just adding an extra $3,000 or $4,000 to it. But maybe there's a transposition error here where they transposed numbers. I hear that a lot. And I have these lovely conversations with auditors about fixing those items. So go to a licensed professional that you can trust who's going to explain to you how to support your tax return. The payments, your fourth quarter's estimates due January 15th. It's past that now. So all your taxes for 2022 should be paid. And if you're currently in a payment plan, it can break. You got to know the basic rules. But yet, still, there'll be a whole lot of people that are just going to go to these companies that hire clerks to match all the information in the program. They know very little about taxes and the IRS, and they'll spit out your return. And some of them charge more than we do, which is crazy, but they do. They take advantage of the fact that they're getting you this extra refund. And then you get audited. Save my phone number, 713-774-4467. I've been doing this for decades. And then we're going to ask you for the backup information and go back to this video and realize that you ran and got your return done. You didn't check your transcript. You don't know how to back up your deductions, but you'll cry that it's your preparer's fault that you got this huge audit bill, 20 grand, 50 grand, whatever's a huge number to you, all because It's your fault. You didn't take 10 minutes to think it through and decide what level of attention you're going to put into your tax return. And trust me on this, I've got the evidence. I'm already dealing with auditors that take all kinds of leeways. Years ago they couldn't just arbitrarily audit the year before and the year after. Now they're arbitrarily looking at documentation and saying, nah, we don't want it. Your number one best bet is not to be audited in the first place. I have a 4-part audit checklist that to this day, when we used it, not one person I know was audited. Think about that. When you're ready, call Stephanie, 713-774-4467, and let's up your relationship with the IRS where you feel comfortable and you're not afraid of them and you're not a victim of overpaying your taxes. Thank you.